Hello everybody, Flik here and welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK anyway, and apologies for my slightly croaky voice. Just when you think that hay fever is gone because it's the end of the summer, or the tail end of the summer, it comes back with a vengeance and kicks my ass this morning, which is typical. It's also quite early, so I suppose that might be why I also sound a bit croaky. This is the first video of the day also. And thank you, your average Norwegian, for reminding me to turn off Steam for now while I record. Anyway, yes, so it is early, and I did petition on Twitter for questions and topics to talk about. I don't think there's been any reply, but as I say, I didn't leave, a big window like I usually do. But that said, there is some things to talk about. There's also questions and topics from the comment section of last week's, so that's fine. But first, we're going to do the Patron shoutouts for those who supported me at a certain tier on Patreon for last month, so for the month of July. By the way, I was just reading before recording this, did you know that for the first time in 900 years or something like that, it's a ridiculously long time, August of this year has 5 Fridays, 5 Saturdays and 5 Sundays, and it will not happen again in our lifetime, because the next time it's going to happen is something like 28 something. So there you go. Isn't that an interesting thing? Probably not, but it's we're not going to see it again in our lifetimes, so I thought that was mildly interesting. Anyway, Patron shoutouts. So, the following people are awesome for being willing to support what I do, and let me keep on carrying on trying to create gaming entertainment for you all. So let's get started. Magic Mumble, Joe Coulthard, Sash, otherwise known as Dragon Akis, Coulson McDonald, Taya Blake, otherwise known as my badass medic in my XCOM series, Fraser Macbeth, Gary, otherwise known as CR, Silver, Good Rory, otherwise known as BT Sports, Matsumuni, Ippo, Logan Cote, OC Calio, Michael Melward, otherwise known as Guildforce Gaming, Travelling Panda, Epic Fail V2, Johan, James Kilgore, Iami Spain, I might be pronouncing your first name wrong, apologies if I am, and also Jim, just no surname given, just Jim, which is quite fun. So yes, thank you very much to everybody. And if you want to support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, there is a link in the description box of every single video I do. The next big goal I'm aiming for is enough to cover the cost of me importing a capture card 3DS XL, which will mean that I can do a playthrough of Monster Hunter 4. I'll obviously cover the cost of the game itself, but I can't afford to buy a 3DS with the capture software built in. They're fairly expensive, plus the cost to import them from, but it's either Japan or America depending on who you choose to order from, plus the import tax, because they never account for the amount of tax you pay when it arrives in this country, because we pay through the arse for tax on imports anyway. But yeah, so that is the next goal. I'm actually fairly close to getting it, and keep in mind it only needs to get to that goal for 1 month and then I will buy it. And also, if I do get to that level and get a capture card 3DS XL, patrons will be in with a chance of winning my normal 3DS, which doesn't have a capture card, and obviously will have no use to me after I have one that I can make videos with. But anyway, let's go to the comment section of last week's Let's Chat. Scroll down to the bottom, because I'll start with the oldest first and work my way up. Right, here we go. So, starting with Joe Molly. Since you're upgrading your PC and desk, well, the desk is done, but I'm still waiting on the PC, sadly, a setup video would be interesting. I could certainly do a video showing it off, but it isn't like I've bought some badass, flashy tower for it. It's just a quiet, spacious one, because that's kind of what I need. I could do a little video on it, and as for setting up, it's essentially I'm just going to pull the wires out of the tower I have at my feet here, pull it out, put the new one in, and plug all the wires back in. Well, that's technically not true, because I will be setting up a second monitor when the new PC arrives, and I also ordered a keyboard and mouse with it, a slightly better brand than what I'm using. I'm using like the cheapest of the cheap brand right now, so I notice when I'm using my keyboard sometimes the keys stick if you try and move in cardinal directions at the same time. So say you want to do a strafe run in Isaac while also firing the way you're running away from, you can't do it. You kind of get stuck and just kind of walk into the wall, and I think that's down to the keyboard not being of high quality. The mouse, I have never even heard of the brand of mouse I'm using. It's a Trust brand mouse. I'm looking at it now, and it's it's fine, but ideally I want one that doesn't click as loudly. I don't know if that's a thing I can do anything about. I'll look into it. I'll see how quiet and or loud this new one I'm getting with the new PC is. And I'm just double checking my email to make sure there isn't a dispatch email for it. Sadly there is not. That would be great if doing this live I just looked at my email and was like, oh, your PC's on the way. It's been about 10 work days, maybe not work days, maybe about 9 work days at the point I'm recording this. By the time you hear this, it could very well be on its way. I certainly hope it is. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure what games I'm going to use to kind of put it through its paces. I don't have anything super next gen. I was thinking of just mucking around on Skyrim, and also Witcher 2. That's about the only other thing I have access to that's especially good looking. Moving on. Marshall Foley, great video, enjoyed. And you also did it in bold, which means you did asterisks at the start and end of it, because that's how apparently you do the bold thing on YouTube now. It's not a question or a topic, but thank you very much. Stacey Berry says, Flik, how old are you? I'm old. I'm not sure if I want to be specific. I'm old. Depending on what age you are, I could be old enough to be your father, I'm not sure. I think I look and sound a bit younger than I am, put it that way. Dragonakis, bah, Krispy Kreme. That's not a question or a topic. Oh, but then you did actually do one. Okay, sorry. No, wait, no, this is a statement. WildStar advertising. Yes, I got so many emails saying it was coming, I ended up boycotting it because they were spamming me so much. That's the same with me and Twitch. That's it, not that I'm boycotting Twitch. If you didn't hear last week, I was talking about the reason I didn't try WildStar at all, be it in the beta or a release, is because I was so sick to death of being spammed with the advert for it on Twitch. And I do watch a lot of Twitch, and I let the adverts play because I want to support the people I watch. Yeah, so I just got so sick of I want to tell you about a place called Nexus, and then I can't remember the rest because I kind of blank out or mute the ad at that point. I just hated it so much. But what I will say for it is, it looks like the characters have fantastic animations. I just mean in terms of like emotive animations, they look very impressive. Very cartoony as well. That's not my typical style of MMO that I like. I do like it a bit grey, or at least not hyper cartoonized, if that's a word. It sounds more like a Pokemon actually now I've said it. Moving on. Voltaire, that computer sounds amazing. Meanwhile, I'm stuck with this piece of crap that can barely play TF2 correctly. I'm sorry to hear that. Actually, does TF2 need a big PC to run? Because I mean, it runs on Mac, so surely you can't need a good PC to run TF2 well. I know you can turn off like the stuff they've added, the animations for your person in the bottom corner where your health is and stuff like that to improve performance. But yeah, the computer does sound amazing. I hope it doesn't, screw up. I always get really nervous and anxious when I upgrade my PC. That's why I do it so rarely. I always try and future-proof myself for like 5 years. I don't mean that I'm going to have an amazing PC for that length of time, just that I have a PC that can cope. Because there's so much stress involved with spending a large amount of money, whether it's, say you're putting a down payment on a holiday or something, or buying a car, or an investment on a home. I compare a PC purchase to that as well, because you're spending so much money. Granted, you can buy on finance, but as I've said in the last couple of these, I don't like buying on finance because not only are you paying more than what the thing is worth, but I just don't like owing money. Yeah. I get nervous. I hope there's not going to be any problems. I don't need to set it up. That's also why I don't build my own PCs, because I don't trust myself with them. I didn't do a lot of the hardware side of computer support when I was in college. And even if I did, that knowledge from then is so out of date now. I don't think I'd be able to cope with modern day PC stuff. I mean, put it this way, when I was learning about PCs in college, wireless was just a thing we spoke about, not a thing we could practice. And then towards the tail end of the second year, it was kind of getting brought in. Also, excuse the dog barking. I think that's the bin lorry going past. Hope it's not the postman, because then I might have to answer the door. I guess we'll find out. Gaming Faster Than Light asks, how do you find out about games you might want to play? Primarily via emails, either a developer emailing me directly, or it's a press release by the developer, or it's a press release by whichever PR company they've opted to have represent them, such as Evolve or Beef Jack, or what's the other one? Hang on, let me click my email and I can probably tell you. Nope, the name isn't jumping out. There's a few other PR companies whose mailing lists I'm on. So generally they tell me directly, and then I try the games. Well, actually no, first of all I read about them and decide, is this something I might enjoy? Yes or no? If it's yes, then I'll go on and try it. And then while I'm trying it, I'll decide, is this something I want to do a video on? Yes or no? And then that's how I do it. As far as AAA stuff, I very rarely get approached about AAA stuff. I think most recently it was Watch Dogs from Ubisoft, and they stopped replying to my emails eventually, because I think they decided to just go quiet when all the bad criticisms of Watch Dogs happened. So, as far as I'm aware, I'm still on their list. But yeah, I don't get AAA stuff or get approached about it much. Usually I have to either do the approaching, or I just make sure that they're okay with videos and then, you know, buy my own copy of the game and make them. But yeah, as far as indie people go, they approach you directly once you're of a reasonable size. Not even a big size, just a reasonable size. And if you get registered on websites like Pixel Prospector's big list of YouTubers, which is still going as far as I'm aware, I still get people emailing me saying that they found me via that. So if you want to try and apply to get onto his list, it doesn't cost anything or like that. You just have to, you know, let him know about your channel, and he'll check out your content and see if you deserve to be on the list. Kinsick, sounds like a great PC. I need to upgrade myself. My PC is running on 8 years old. Okay, that's even longer than I like to last with a PC, although granted, if you spend a lot of money like I have now, I hope that my 5-year upgrade window is actually going to be increased to at least, say, 7, I hope. But who knows? I guess it depends what innovations in technology there is between then and now. Brandon Daigle, I would say that I have stuck around because of your voice, personality, fair amount of jokes that are not overdone, no screaming, and I don't know, being fabulous because you're fabulous. I'm not sure if I like the implication there, but thank you very much for the compliment. I'm not entirely sure my voice is one of those types of voices that are just easy to listen to, which is why so many of my early videos, like from 2008, 2009, even into 2010 actually, don't have any voice at all. I remember the first videos I did where I had my voice, and it was DC Universe Online, I believe, and I hate the sound of my own voice. You know, everybody hates the sound of their own voice in their head, or that you don't sound like you do in your head when you hear it back. I was very self-conscious about that when I first got started. But then I learned that non-English people, or non-British people, actually quite like hearing Scottish accents. So I became less self-conscious about it, and I'm glad to hear that at least one person quite likes listening to my voice, and that you think I do jokes now and then. I don't know about not doing them too much. I think there are certain things I just, like, I slip into quotes from old Futurama and Simpsons episodes very easily. That's because that's what my friends and I used to do when we were growing up. We just shouted quotes at each other. So now they're all ingrained in my head, so I always utter them in certain situations. If you haven't noticed them yet, you will soon, because there's a few select quotes I use all the time, because I find them funny, and I can't help it. Evolution 13, is that Evolution? Yes, Evolution 13. Hey Flik, was wondering if you ever tried Breach and Clear or Frozen Synapse. It's kind of like XCOM. If you like either one, it would be nice to see you play one. And then he added, also would like to know what has been your least favourite game and then in brackets S, you've played or covered this year so far. I have heard of Frozen Synapse. It's been recommended to me by a couple of people. I must admit a slight bit of ignorance about it. I am aware of it. I almost bought it in a Steam sale once, but I didn't. Breach and Clear, I haven't. It sounds similar to a game I covered called... I can't remember. And I closed Steam, so I can't open it and check. Damn it. I mean, once I'm done with XCOM, people seem to like the XCOM style of game. I'm actually rather happy with the reception of the series, and it's really easy to make, and also I have a lot of fun playing XCOM, so if people like it, that's just double barrels of win. So if there's other games like it, I might look into that after XCOM is done. So I'll look into Breach and Clear once I'm done recording this to find out what it is. Frozen Synapse I'll look into. A couple of my friends have played it. I think CR has at least, and then I'll need to double check if anyone else has. Good Rory, Necros Master Race King of the Farmers. Also, if anyone does want to play Warble Fram with me and CR when he's around, I'm up for it. The first part of that sentence made no sense to me. Necros Master Race King of Farmers. What does that mean? I assume it's Warble Fram jargon. But if you, yeah, I'll reiterate, I did this last time as well, but if you are interested in playing Warframe, CR and Good Rory play it. They play it a lot, too much because they're addicted. They're looking for other people to do some kind of farming runs or something. In my Steam group, which is linked on my main channel page, they've done a post asking for people to join in. So if you play Warframe and you want to play with them, let them know. I heartily endorse this product, or whatever the quote from Krusty was that I linked a video to in the topic. And then finally we have one more, which is actually the other thing I wanted to talk about today, as per some stuff that happened late last night. George Espinoza asks, what are your opinions on Twitch being bought out by Google? Well, it's still not official. They're still keeping very stum about it. Do people say stum outside of the UK? It means, just keeping hush hush. So there's still been no confirmation. It's been kind of leaked on Variety and other magazines and whatever that other big American one is, that it's happened. Now it isn't just in talks, that it has actually happened. And some changes that Twitch made last night certainly seem to fall into line with what you would think is YouTube mandated changes. Well, first of all, a few days ago they shut down Justin.tv, which is their other half of their business. It was the non-gaming half. It was where people they watched like foreign television and stuff, or they just hosted their own programs. It's basically anything as long as it wasn't gaming. I saw some people say that they used to subscribe to pay for Japanese wrestling, as weird as that sounds. But that's all gone now. Justin TV is just gone. They've killed it because Twitch is the profitable side of their business, so that's the side they want to focus on, especially if they've just sold it to Google, but we don't know for sure. And then also last night they have stated that VODs, or backups of broadcasts, will now no longer be kept indefinitely, which is a fair decision, I would actually say, because as Twitch grows and grows and grows, they're going to have the same problem YouTube does. I will learn to speak one day, which is running out of space or using too much space, such that you're now spending so much on more and more storage space that you're not actually making a profit. So I don't mind that they're not permanently going to keep past broadcasts. But the window of which they are going to keep it is depending on your level. If you're just a standard account, I believe it's 2 weeks. If you pay for Turbo, I think it's the longest at a month, and then, or maybe it's 2 months. And then if you're a Twitch partner, I think it's a month. But either way, yeah, there's different variable lengths. But keep in mind, most streaming software, XSplit, OBS, what's the other one, Camtasia, I think, they all have the ability to self-record while you're streaming. So if you're ever worried about Twitch not keeping what you're making self-record at the same time, keep in mind though that'll probably cause a lot of lag. Anyway, the other change they made, which is the worst, is they introduced a content ID system, and it's broken as hell, and it's the same guilty until proven innocent bullshit that YouTube uses. That's just lending fuel to the flame, really, that it's proof that the buyout has happened or is about to happen. So what does this mean? Well, this means it doesn't happen during live broadcasts because there's no way to monitor live broadcasts. It affects the VODs. During a VOD, this is video on demand, by the way, if you don't know what it means, a recording of a live stream, essentially. It scans those, and if it finds copyrighted music from either, artists or games or, Nintendo shit, it'll mute them. It'll mute the section. And what's hilarious is Twitch's own broadcasts were muted under this system, and for example, Valve's official Dota 2 channel was also muted for containing Dota 2 music owned by Valve. As stupid as that sounds. Still quite funny, but also very, very stupid. So this means that if you use copyrighted music while you stream, like for example, I spoke about this a long time ago, speedrunners often just have actual music playing because they're so focused on playing the game, they don't concentrate on keeping up a conversation with their audience, so they entertain the audience by having music playing while they focus. That's still going to happen, but now if you want to watch, the VOD of their world record-breaking attempt at Ocarina of Time, well, one, you're going to have to sit through adverts now, issued by Nintendo, and two, it'll be muted because of the music. Either music that was being played over by the person playing, or the actual music of the game itself, because the horrible, horrible company they've got coping with this crap has game music on their soundtrack as well, or on their, their catalogue that it scans for. But one gleam of hope that I assume will be fixed, and I'm doing inverted commas for fixed, is if you are watching a VOD and there is a section which is muted, apparently if you press spacebar twice it removes the mute, which is funny. really, really funny. I assume they'll fix it. They'll have to if it's to be used. So does this mean that, is this proof that YouTube has actually done it? They've acquired Twitch? To me it seems like it is. It feels too much like how YouTube works for that not to be the case. It could also be Twitch changing their terms and the way they do things with VODs and whatnot, specifically so they become more appealing. Maybe YouTube looked at acquiring them, didn't like the way they were doing stuff and said change this and the deal will happen. I don't know. I think it will happen, and I think these are the first steps of it happening. Is it good? No, it's not. It's definitely not. It is terrible. Twitch is horrible now, or will be. And it's a shame, because obviously I can't live stream until 2 years from now, so I'm never going to get the chance to try Twitch in its prime. And I do think that right now, or say a month or two ago, is what you can consider the tail end of Twitch being in its prime, and this will be the start of its decline. It will still get used because it's easy to use. It has the integration with YouTube already, whether they bought them or not, which is always a plus. But you will see competitors cropping up, and who knows, one of them may become more successful as a result. I hear people throwing around Hitbox as the alternative to Twitch currently. Whether or not that's actually going to be the case once if a deal is happens, I guess we'll see. It doesn't affect me, as I say. I can't stream for 2 more years, and who knows what will be happening by then. I may not even have a channel by then. YouTube could be gone, who knows? So it doesn't affect me, so I don't really have a direct opinion, but I agree with most people thinking it's a horribly bad decision if it does happen, because Google always works on the premise that you are guilty until you're proven innocent, because it's the lazy option, it's the easy option, it's the path of least resistance for them, so that's why they pick it. Doesn't matter if you get kind of trodden on the way, as long as it's easy for them. So they'll take the soul out of Twitch, like they did YouTube. But YouTube still functions, and Twitch will still function, even if it has no soul. So people will put up with it. But it'll change for the worse, I think. I don't like having overly negative opinions, but it does seem like everything Google touches turns to shit even just a little bit. And I don't think Twitch will be any different. Anyway, that concludes the questions on last week's Let's Chat. If you have any questions of your own or topics you want me to discuss, leave them in the comments of what you're listening to right now. Also, I'm checking my email one more time. Please have a dispatch. Nope, I've got a message from Twitter saying suggestions based on, and then I can't see the rest because it's minimized. Let me check Twitter. Also, I just realized my connection must be playing up because my my Skype is disconnected. That's weird. Anyway, did I get any questions on Twitter? I got CR saying rippin' piss Twitch, which isn't a question, but that's fine. It's a statement, and I kind of agree with it. Nope, I didn't think I would. I asked really early this morning, and most of my audience is American, so most of them will probably be asleep right now, especially if you're on the West Coast. Where's San Francisco? I know someone in that area, so I know it's like 2 in the morning right now when I'm recording this. But I don't know what coast. Geography is my weakness. I have horrific geography on any level, local or worldwide. Just awful. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. There will be 2 more videos up today, and I don't know what they'll be. Probably XCOM, since it's basically a daily series at this point, and whatever else I can think of. Also, look forward to the second Dark Souls 2 DLC at the end of the month. I certainly am. Which I'll be doing with Good Rory, as I did with the verse. So anyway, yes, I'm going to go now. Got some more recording to do. It's just the start of a new workday. I've got plenty to do. My name has been Flik, and I shall hopefully see you next week. Ta-ta for now.